Namaste children, I am SM for 9th Geography. Today we are entering into the second unit, Lithosphere part 2, in which we are going to study about the exogenetic process. What is the exogenetic process? As I said, it happens outside the earth, that is on the crust. So let me give intro for this lesson. So earth is a dynamic system which undergoes many changes. For example, it undergoes internal and external changes. What happens internal changes? How it happens? Due to the solar energy and gravitational force, the heat and the pressure comes out in the form of a volcano or a earthquake, and it happens on the crust, which is called the internal process. And what is the external process? Due to the internal heat, whatever that comes out is called the external process. The exogenic process, which is otherwise called the external process, is divided into two types: weathering and mass movement and radiation. So there is further division in weathering and mass movement. It is divided into physical, chemical and biological weathering. The gradation is further divided into degradation and aggradation. These two types will be learned later. First, let us learn about the physical, chemical and biological weathering. So, exogenetic process is divided into weathering and mass movement, which is further divided into physical, chemical and biological weathering. Now, let us study what is weathering. So, weathering means it is the breaking, disintegration and decomposition of material of earth crust because of atmosphere. So what is breaking? Breaking means going into or in different pieces. Disintegration, change from one form into another form. Decomposition, which is a decayed one. So what is weathering? Weathering is the breaking, disintegration and decomposition of materials. Whatever the materials that is found on the earth crust, due to the atmospheric condition, is called as weathering. There are three types of weathering. As I said, it is physical weathering, chemical weathering and biological weathering. First, let us study what is physical weathering. Physical weathering is the breakdown of rocks without changing their chemical composition. What is the meaning of it? For example, a rock contains 20% of iron, 20% of nickel, 20% of magnesium, 20% of coal. The percentage remains same without any changes due to this physical weathering. That's the meaning for breaking down of rocks. So the rock is broke down without changing their chemical composition. There is no change in their chemical. So this happens because of freezing and thawing. Because thawing means when the ice becomes freeze, when it is in the daytime, it becomes in the liquid form. The liquid form is called as thawing. So the chemical composition that happens both in day and night will make the rocks to expand and contraction. So let me say once again. So the physical weathering means the breakdown of rocks without changing their chemical composition. So what happens during this weathering? The rocks become freezed and thawed during day and night, and because of this reaction, the rocks is expanded sometimes and it is contrasted sometimes, and it becomes as a physical weathering. The physical weathering is further divided into exfoliation, granular disintegration and block disintegration. Let me say what is exfoliation. So due to the heating and cooling of rocks, so morning and day both, due to the heating and cooling of rocks, the rocks are peeled out. So peeled out how in the form of layer by layer. For example, you take onion, you can peel the first layer, then the second layer, then the third layer. So this is called a peeling of onion. Here the rock is also peeled out because of heating and cooling. So exfoliation is of other two forms. It is sheeting and shattering. Sheeting means you You take example as a mat. How it is in the sheet form. Paper is a sheet form. Shattering means it becomes a broken stone pieces. So once again let me say exfoliation means due to the heating and cooling the rocks are peeled out layer by layer. It is of two forms sheeting and shattering. The next one, second type is granular disintegration. In this process the crystalline rocks because of this granular disintegration it becomes a grain. Grains means it become a loose material and it falls down. This happens due to the temperature and the frost, that is heat and coolness. So this is called a granular disintegration. Let me say once again, granular disintegration means the crystalline rocks due to the heating and the cooling it becomes into grain form. The grain means it is in the loose form and it falls down because of heat and coolness. The third one is block disintegration. So the block disintegration happens in the repeatedly form and because of this repeated action there is expansion and contraction. Expansion in then the contraction during a day and night which causes the stress. Stress means alutham. Stress in the joints and there is a breaking of rocks which is called as a block disintegration. So the physical weathering is divided into exfoliation, granular disintegration and block disintegration. The second type of weathering is chemical weathering. So what is chemical weathering? It is the disintegration and decomposition of rock. Already I have said what is disintegration, changed from one form into another form. Decomposition means decayed one. So the disintegration and decomposition of rocks due to why it happens? Because of a chemical reaction. So this can be found especially in hot and humid region. Humid region means nothing but cool region. So what are the agents of this chemical weathering? It is oxygen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen and water. These are all present in the atmosphere. So this chemical weathering means the disintegration and decomposition of rocks due to chemical weathering which happens because of the hot and humidity. This is also found in a very cool and hot region. The agents of this chemical weathering are carbon dioxide, oxygen, hydrogen, water, etc. The chemical reaction is further divided into four types. The first one is carbonization. This is mixing of water with the carbon dioxide gives a carbonic acid. When water is mixed with carbon dioxide, carbonic acid is formed. Because of this action, caves are formed, especially in the limestone region. The next type is oxidation. When the oxygen that is present in the atmosphere mixes with iron, it leads to iron oxide. So oxygen plus iron gives iron oxide. The process of rusting of iron, rusting means turupudikkirathu. The process of rusting of iron and pressure of air and water is called as oxidation. So oxidation means oxygen plus iron gives iron oxide. The process of rusting of iron and the pressure of air and water is called as oxidation. The next one is solution. The dissolution of rocks. This solution of rocks it is mixed together in water which result in losing of rocks particles and it breaks down into rocks. Let me explain once again. The dissolution of rock is dissolved in water. As it is dissolved in water, it becomes very loose and it breaks into rocks. This is called as a solution. Right? Hydration means due to the absorption of water, the water is absorbed in the rock. When water is absorbed, certain chemicals will enlarge in size. Certain chemicals enlarges in size and because of this humidity condition, cracks are formed and the rocks will wears down. Wears means it falls down into loose materials. So absorption of water makes certain chemicals that is present in the rock to enlarge its size because of the humidity condition. Cracks are formed and it falls down into small bit of rocks. And the third type is biological weathering. So the biological weathering occurs due to the penetration and the expansion. Penetration means going inside and expansion means it is enlarged because of plant root, earthworm, burrowing animals. Burrowing means which is living inside the earth like a rabbit, rat, etc. And some of the human activities is called biological weathering. The weathering that happens or occurs due to the penetration and expansion is called biological weathering. It may be happen because of plant root, earthworm, burrowing animals and human activities. Today in this class we have I have taught about the weathering, types of weathering, that is physical, chemical and biological weathering. I will continue in the next class. Thank you children.